Hey guys, welcome to Waiting Tables. This is a podcast designed to be a place for venting about customer service positions from either people that are currently in customer service positions or the lucky few that got out. Most of us have had the distinct pleasure of working in some form of customer service in our lives. As such, you would imagine customers would be understanding, compassionate, and just generally easy to interact with whilst we're at work, seeing as how they most likely are going to get it. Shockingly, customers often are not. This podcast is going to explore what it is like to be on the receiving end of these emotions and demands from customers, and it's going to end with advice on how we can all do better when it comes to interacting with one another, whether you be a customer or the employee. I'm Kate Gaffney, I'm the host, and I'm just really excited to release this into the world. This has been a labor of love for a very long time. And to my friends and family and everybody that has stood by me during the development of this process, I'm super grateful and I can't wait for you to hear it. This is a teaser episode with just snippets of some of the many lovely interviews I've been able to do. Yeah, we're releasing it before the end of the new year, or before the beginning of the new year and the end of this year, because I just wanted to do a little bit of a nod to everybody working in customer service, since most of us are still working over the holidays. Most of us don't get this time off, and most of us, in order to even be hired for the customer service position that we took, we're not able to take the time off, and we're told, you know, if you want this job, you are available on Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving and Halloween and all of the fun holidays. So since most other podcasts are on hiatus during this time and most customer service people are still trudging along to their jobs, I thought, why not release this? First full episode will be the following Monday, which will actually be, I believe, the 30th of December. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and just please enjoy.
The thing people don't get about customer service is you have to be able to handle a situation under pressure. And you have to look like it doesn't faze you at all.
So true. So true.
And that's why Christmas season
it's the worst.
is the worst season. I think that's why I'm traumatized and I hate the holidays now. Straight up. Because you hear Christmas music from October to January.
Oh, yeah, because you played it in the store, huh?
Yeah. As a waitress, I will never like after Sunday service people.
Okay.
Because churchgoers are so rude to you as a waitress. And I don't like people around the holidays, shoppers around the holidays, because it's so fake to me.
Interesting.
When you work in customer service, you see how fake everyone is, because they rush in, they need a gift for their kid's teacher or their aunt's cousin's brother, and they don't think about what they're buying. They just want you to help them get the cheapest thing possible. That's the nicest thing possible.
And I had this, we went through many managers, but we had this one manager who worked there for years. Like, God bless Jim. And Jim, you know, he talked like this, really affected. Yeah. And Jim overheard me once. I came to a table. I rattled off like 18 specials. And the couple at the table, they go, "Oh, are you our waitress?" And I said, "Well, I'm not Zorro." And my manager happened to be at the back of the room and overheard me. And he's like, "Shauna, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "You can't tell our customers you're not Zorro."
I came here on New Year's Eve, 2014, going into 2015, and I had a show that night when I pulled into town. It paid me $50 to perform at some Irish pub for New Year's Eve, and I was like, I'm already.
I made it.
Getting paid, like this is going to be easy. And it was not.
I don't even understand what happened to this day. She just didn't like I wasn't moving fast enough and I wasn't smiling enough for her. And so
really want you to
told
name
her
her.
assistants to remove me, and it was real horrible. I mean, it was like horrible. Like one of her assistants came and apologized to me because she was so nasty.
So Jaya was working a book signing. Do you want me to name her?
Well,
Okay, if you don't want to, we're not naming her.
Well, wait, can we? Like, she's
yes,
not gonna
it
hear
happened
this.
to you. Who knows? You know, this is a very popular, very successful podcast.
She might hear it.
A platypus.
David, this is not a fucking science podcast. Can we keep talking about
Okay.
your fucking credentials, which, by the way, I don't even know if they qualify you for this because it's so all over the place.
I know.
David, so you're in college.
So I'm in college, yeah. So, sorry, I'm going to do this away from the
Oh, God. He's opening a water bottle. It did just unaware. He's also a producer, which I mentioned in the intro, and doesn't seem to be aware. sound, and now he's just gulping his. Oh, this is the best podcast ever, probably ever.
You know, like 42s. And Steve was like, hey, let's go over to their student section. Like they had just scored. Michigan had just scored. And he's like, let's go to their student section. And like, let's just like, he's like, we'll do the flips over there. And I was like, we're like, Steve, is that a good idea?
Steve, think this through, Steve.
I'm like looking at hindsight in the future, Steve, and I'm telling you right now, this is not a good idea. So we walk over there, all 6 of us, we go over there, and they're like, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So like what? So yeah. So that means we have like at least 7, right?
Each. Yeah.
We get through like, you know, like that third one, and I'm like, it's not looking good, right? So
that you get.
No
and
thanks.
and so I came back and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I told them, I was like, by the end of the year, I was like, I'm done by the end of the year. I was way too fucking nice. I said, I will stay and I will work Expo because I know until you find someone, I will train whoever you need me to find because apparently it's so difficult.
Brain surgery.
Yeah. And I was like, so I will be there and I will train whoever you need me to train and I will work until the end of the year and then I'm done.
Out.
And then I remember having a discussion with one of the girls who is a server who became a manager. I remember like crying to her in the office because she was like, I don't know. I remember we had a discussion and she's like, honestly, I'm afraid one day you're not going to show up because you have zero need to. Oof. And she's like, and I was like, well, and she's like, but I know you wouldn't do that. But
Yeah,
she's
'cause
like,
it's
but I'm
you.
afraid. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Cause I was like, well, I can't, I would feel too bad.
Yeah. And that's the thing is they can exploit that.
Exactly.
Especially
they
out here.
exploited the shit out of me. And granted, I let it happen
Sure.
because I was like, no, I'm going to feel too bad because it's not all of my friends are going to be affected.
Sure.
All of my friends and servers that have nothing to do what's happening. But this is between me and the owners they don't want to talk to me about it. To the point that my last shift, one of the owners was working. He was managing that day. And it was my last shift. And he was like, hey, so I know, it's been really great having you here. We've really appreciated everything you've done for us. I know the last few months have been, and he kind of gave me, so at the beginning, he kind of gave me a hug. And then he kind of started slowly backing away. And because I was just staring at him like, and he's just sort of they've been a little
weird guy.
and then he kind of did like
winking a gun.
Yeah, like a little gun thing, like ooh, and then backed into his office, and I was like, yes, yeah, you bitch. I know what you've done, and you know that I know.
Then I went back to New York, and I was like, I need to get on Broadway, and I ended up getting a job as a cocktail waiter. After I got fired. I was a cocktail waiter at this dive bar called Pieces in the Village.
Okay.
And this dive gay bar. And that was all under the table. I don't care if they get in trouble. You should.
So wait, you were paid you weren't even paid hourly. It was all just like cash.
It was
under the
cash
table.
tips only.
Ooh,
I don't think I was paid hourly at all. No.
So you weren't even. They didn't even acknowledge that they had employees. It was just like, here's some cash.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, it was cash only bar.
Oh, they were doing all kinds of things.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever see stuff in the back where you were like, they're doing more than serving beer?
No. Oh, like the back room?
No, like were you like this? We're gonna move past that. Okay, great. So you worked at Pieces.
And can I swear on this podcast?
Absolutely.
My mom literally said when I was 13, 2 things that stood out. It's like we all shit out of the same hole, which is true.
It's a fact.
Even Joe Rogan has to go to the bathroom once a day.
At minimum
yeah.
for that dude's diet.
Well, probably with all the elk meat he eats, probably more than once a day. Even Chris D'Elia has to go number 2.
Yeah.
I have to go number 2. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And then she said, Earl, there's always someone with a bigger dick in the room.
Wow.
Which, when I took that literally, so when I was like 14, I'm
You're like,
"Oh,
which
that guy-"
one?
Yeah,
Which
that guy
one?
looks like he has a big dick. But I was raised around respect. So when I feel disrespected, I tend to speak out
Good
where
for
most
you.
people wouldn't.
Well, the stakes, I feel like for most of us in customer service, thank God that the job that I have now, we have a little piss and vinegar. We get to say a few things, but for the most part in every customer service job I've had, it's like, yeah, the customer might not always be right, but you better not have any retaliation or any sort of retort when they say anything to you. You just have to smile and nod. And if you do have some sort of retort, be prepared to be fired. And so because you had the advantage of if they fired you, you still could pay your rent. That helps. So you actually become the voice of all the people who can't say those things. So your coworkers probably worshiped you because they were like, fuck, he's saying the things we wish we could say. Because when you have that person on the staff with you, you're like, where is that person? I want them to say this thing to this person.